Swearing in Australia. Now that's a topic that can raise a few eyebrows, especially from those not familiar with our colloquial charm. There's a sort of art to Australian swearing, a cultural quirk that's as endearing as it is perplexing to outsiders. It's true, Australians do have a reputation for being a bit liberal with their swear words, but it's not quite as straightforward as it might seem. Now, to address the elephant in the room, yes, Australians do have a particular fondness for certain expletives that in other cultures might be considered quite harsh and offensive. The infamous C word is one such example. In many parts of the world, this word is about as taboo as it gets, but down under, it's often used more casually, sometimes even affectionately among friends. It's a linguistic paradox that can leave visitors scratching their heads. But here's the key. It's all about context and tone. In Australian culture, the intent behind the word is often as important as the word itself. Swearing can be a way of expressing a wide range of emotions, from frustration to affection, surprise to camaraderie. It's less about the words and more about the sentiment they convey. This casual approach to swearing might be rooted in the Australian ethos of egalitarianism. There's a sense of knocking down pretensions and fostering a sense of mateship. Swearing can be a way of breaking down social barriers, of saying, we're all in this together, so let's not stand on ceremony. Of course, this doesn't mean that anything goes. Australians are also keenly aware of when swearing is inappropriate. You're not likely to hear these words in formal settings or in polite company. It's a bit like having different wardrobes for different occasions. You wouldn't wear your beach gear to a wedding, and you wouldn't bring your saltiest language to a job interview. And then there's the creative side of Australian swearing. Aussies have a talent for playing with language, for bending and stretching it into new shapes. Swearing can be a form of linguistic creativity, a way of expressing oneself with colour and flair. It's not just about being crude or rude, it's about finding new and humorous ways to use language. This penchant for colourful language is also reflected in Australian humour. Aussie comedy often has a cheeky, irreverent streak, and swearing can be a part of that. It's about poking fun at ourselves and the world around us, about not taking things too seriously. But let's not forget, while swearing might seem ubiquitous in Australia, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like any cultural trait, it varies from person to person, from those who swear like it's going out of fashion, to those who prefer to keep their language as clean as a whistle. In the end, Australian swearing is a bit like a complex dance. It's about knowing the steps, understanding the rhythm, and reading the room. It's a part of our cultural tapestry, a quirky and sometimes baffling aspect of Australian identity. And while it might not always translate well across cultures, it's a reminder of the down-to-earth, unpretentious spirit that many Aussies hold dear. So, while the liberal use of swear words might be one of the more notorious aspects of Australian culture, it's not without its nuances and subtleties. It's a part of our linguistic landscape, as varied and vibrant as the country itself. And in a way, that's just how we like it. A bit rough around the edges, but full of character and heart.